Okay, for everyone's notification, I'm here with Mr. Greg Walker, who's the president of the hospital, as well as Chief Anthony Colarusso of the Dover Police Department. So I'll begin. At approximately 6:03 a.m. this morning, officers from the Dover Police Department responded to a 911 call from the Wentworth-Douglass Hospital for a report of shots fired inside the facility. Responding officers from the Dover Police Department discovered a deceased adult female and a deceased adult male in the critical care unit of the hospital. Investigators believe the deceased were husband and wife. And while the investigation is still in its early stages, investigators believe this was an apparent murder-suicide. We will not be releasing the identities of the deceased at this point, pending notification of next of kin. And additionally, autopsies are scheduled for tomorrow to determine the exact manner and cause of death. I'll take any questions.
How many shots were fired inside the hospital?
And that's something I can't comment on during the nature of the investigation.
Was she in the hospital because of a mental illness?
And again, that's something else I'm not in a position to comment on at this point.
Can you confirm their names? Because we went to the home, the family knows about it, they confirmed everything to us. We'd like you guys to confirm names because the family tells us this was a murder-suicide done out of love and compassion. Can you comment at all on that?
And at this point, we can't. We're not going to release the names of the deceased pending notification of all the family members as well as the autopsy results.
What kind of weapon was recovered?
Again, that's another fact regarding the information of the investigation that we're not at liberty to comment on at this point.
More than one?
Do you expect any of that?
Sorry, that's something I can't comment on.
Was the hospital placed in lockdown at all? How were other patients affected by this?
And after I'm done speaking, I'm going to let Mr. Walker, the president of the hospital, he's going to give a brief statement regarding the hospital, and he may answer any questions at any time regarding the hospital, if so he chooses.
Are you aware of the Facebook posting of this guy? He obviously posted, he said a lot of stuff about what was going to happen, why he did it. We confirmed at his work. They're very obviously upset at the Ford company where he worked. They said, listen, we're going to miss it, Mr. Mark Lavoie. Can you give us a sense of why you won't release that since it's already out there, since he's already posted on Facebook saying, please don't delete this? Can you give us a sense of why? What's the holdback?
And again, we're pending notification of all the members of the family. The family's involved here. This was a tragic incident. We want to make sure everyone has been notified properly. Again, we're awaiting the autopsy results to confirm anything.
Can you give us their ages?
That's some information which I cannot release at this time. Thank you.
Do you believe that he killed his wife before shooting himself?
And I can't comment on what may or not have occurred during the incident. It's
Were
still under investigation.
Were they alone in the room?
That's something I cannot answer. I'm not going to answer any questions regarding the incident, any facts or circumstances, because the investigation is ongoing at this time.
Did you say you were...
And that's another thing, again, we're not going to liberty to provide any information regarding the deceased pending notification of all the next of kin at this point.
Okay, did you say you were aware of the Facebook posting?
The investigation is a thorough investigation. We'll look into everything.
Okay, well, there's a Facebook post out there that all of us know about in the media where a guy says he's going to Dover Hospital to shoot his wife and then shoot himself, and he did it out of love and compassion. Give us something. Is this Facebook post part of that investigation that the family's confirming, that his workplace is confirming?
Typically in our investigations we do look at social media, and that is an aspect of any investigation that will be looked at.
Is this specific Facebook post a part of that?
The investigation will be very thorough and we'll look at all the possible avenues. Thank you.
Do you expect any of these questions to be answered today?
At this point the investigation is ongoing. It's only been a number of hours, so it's in the early stages of the investigation, so we're not at liberty to release a lot of this information.
Can we get your name?
Sure, my name is Jay McCormick, J-A-Y, last name M-C-C, big C, O-R-M-A-C-K. I'm an assistant attorney general.
Were people in the hospital scared when shots rang out? Can you talk about that at all?
And again, that's something I'm not at liberty to discuss at this moment.
I mean, you can give us something when someone calls 911. Obviously, they're concerned when the shots rang out in the hospital.
As again, this was in response to a 911 call for shots fired.
Can we talk to the hospital president?
Sure. Mr. Walker?
Can you spell your first and last name too, sir?
Sure. My first name is Gregory, G-R-E-G-O-R-Y. Last name is Walker, W-A-L-K-E-R. President Hospital.
Give us a sense of what's going through your heart and mind. There's obviously a tragedy happening.
I'm going to read my statement, please.
All right.
This morning at 6 a.m. in our ICU, a very sad and horrific event took place. And our thoughts are with the family members of those who are impacted by this event that took place today at our hospital. I want to say how proud I am of how our staff reacted during this very difficult period of time under extremely difficult circumstances. Our primary concern at this time is obviously the care of our patients, making sure they're well taken care of, but also making sure that support services are there for our patients, for our staff members, visitors, and family members. We have counselors available in the hospital or available on an ongoing basis to make sure the needs of all of those are involved and taken care of at the hospital. Throughout the whole event, the services to our patients were not impacted. The hospital remains open for services, and we're here to meet the needs of our community and our patients. Thank you.
What was the woman in the hospital for?
I cannot comment on that. Due to HIPAA and ongoing investigations, my ability to answer questions will be very limited.
Have you ever had a shooting in the hospital here before?
Not to my knowledge.
When you got the call this morning that a shooting happened inside of your hospital, what was your gut reaction? What did you think?
I was very sad. So,
That obviously
Walker, the
something
press
like this
release says
happened.
it was in the critical care unit. Are those private rooms, or were there other people on the other
our
side of the
critical
room?
care unit or private rooms.
Right.
So they were in there by themselves?
Private room.
How long have they been in there before the incident transpired?
I do not have the information.
Can you talk to me a little bit about, obviously mental illness and depression are issues in our society. Can you talk at all about something you would say to someone else that might be considering something like this as well? Because
I'm not a mental health practitioner, so I'm not ready to discuss that.
What's the typical procedure for people going into the intensive care unit, security-wise? I mean, can people just go walking in, or is there a screening process for anybody to walk in to visit a relative? What's it typically like?
Our unit is limited. Visitors are restricted to the ICU to family members and a very small number of visitors.
So does that mean that the man was allowed to go in at that point?
I don't have specific information to share with you at this time.
Are people allowed to carry firearms into the hospital?
We have a no firearms policy in the hospital.
How could you enforce that, though? Obviously, the difficulty there is determining those
I'm
investments.
not prepared to answer that question at this time.
Were there any threats made to any staff members?
I don't have any of that information at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.